Hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Accomplishing Your VISTA Assignment. I'm Eric, along with
Jessica Birch
in AmeriCorps Vista in Washington, D.C. We'll be your hosts for today's session.
Until today, many of us have had a very structured learning environment, and the process of a non-formal and informal learning is new. This session will introduce individual development planning and then explore some sources and resources for training and information that are available to you.
Let's start with you. The first few weeks of service have probably contained a flood of information. You've been acclimating to your organization, getting settled in your community, and testing out your new VISTA position. But let's take a breath and appreciate yourselves for the hard work of listening and adapting.
Well done.
And now let's consider what work, skills, or life skills might come in very handy this year.
So, what new information or skills do you need to succeed with your VAD or living as a VISTA? Please share your thoughts in the chat. So definitely just follow the instructions. If you don't see the chat, you can click on the button that says chat panel. It'll actually look like a little square bubble. So just make sure that you put that information in the chat, and we'll see kind of what information you guys need to succeed. And make sure you do that to all participants so that we can see it. Okay, great. So Ashley's the first one. She said effective volunteer management. That's always a great one.
It is. Nancy mentions researching and compiling data, which is important as a VISTA.
And then obviously, building more skills on building capacity and resource development. That's kind of what VISTA is all about.
And what we're doing right now, communication, communication, communication.
Exactly. There's like 3 almost back-to-back, actually 4 now. Focusing on prioritizing goals. That's always a great one. What they really need to focus on, what can kind of take a back seat.
Definitely. And I know there's a lot more coming in. Someone mentioned capacity building. That's what VISTAs do, sustainability-wise. And
time management. That can help you not only with your VAD, but also your normal life.
Definitely. And the last one I'll point out is someone mentions asks every question you need answers to. That's perfect, and that's a great segue to our next topic.
Definitely. And I do have to say, I want to give Joshua props. He said frugality. I love it. He didn't just say, like, living on a budget. He said frugality. I really like it. So let's move on to the next slide here. And we're going to talk a little bit about the agenda for today. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to start with an introduction to an instrument that will help you guide your professional development. It's what we call the Individual Development Plan. We'll also then take a brief tour of the VISTA campus and identify a few resources that we think are worth your while. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lot of you guys have been in service for a bit. You're like, I've already been on the VISTA campus. We're just going to show you some resources that you may not have found yet and just places where you can find more information. And then we're going to explore what other sources for training and development and look at some next action steps that you can take with your VISTA service. So, Eric, do you want to get started?
Absolutely. As we said earlier, and as Jessica mentioned, developing a plan of action in a fluid, on-the-job learning environment, especially if you're used to an academic one, is a great idea. We would like to offer this instrument, as Jessica mentioned, the IDP, as a means to do that. This is not something you need to turn in, but rather is a tool that you may consider utilizing throughout your VISTA year in order to be mindful about what skills you need or want to develop.
That's right, Eric. So let's start looking at the next slide here about capturing the skills or knowledge you identified in the chat. So you may have received a link, your facilitator may have received a link, or we can post that in the chat to find this individual development plan that is on the VISTA campus site. The individual development plan is a kind of map that ideally will take concrete action steps towards building skills and competencies that you want or need.
Definitely. And take a moment now to write those skills or topics down from the chat as we work through how to develop an IDP. They can be anything from fundraising to personal budgeting, recruiting to fruitarian gleaning or frugality, like someone mentioned. You can also indicate the level of priority that skill has for you. And remember, though we are talking about accomplishing your VAD, I encourage you to consider life skills as well as workplace skills. The beauty of VISTA service is that it encompasses all of it, no classroom walls.
So now we're going to show you a few resources that you have available as of VISTA. We would encourage you to write down the relevant ones that we talk about so that you can come back to them later. And as Eric mentioned, we suggest using the individual development plan as a tool, but don't worry, it's not something that you need to turn in.
So hopefully now the VISTA campus is a pretty familiar site. We know many of you have logged in and perused it, but we do want to give you some more information to help you during your year of service. The campus does have classrooms, libraries, and essentially a student union, even a job board. There's no gym or meal plan, so you may have to give that up.
That's true. Wouldn't a meal plan be really nice?
That would be awesome.
It would be. So along with providing you resources related to your work, the campus also supports connecting with other VISTAs working in not only your program area, but those who live near you or who are just dealing with the same issues that come along with being a VISTA.
First thing, make sure you log in. You all know what your login is, so go ahead and do it. You can log in by using the box shown on the bottom left portion of the screen, or you can click the blue login button on the top right of the screen. You guys already know this. Great. Congratulations. You've also taken a few online courses to get this far, so you already have an account. But just remember, if you do forget, use the I forgot my password link in the white login box, and that'll help you get situated.
So we tried to structure the campus logically. In the About VISTA section, we discuss the mission and history of VISTA and provide guidance on how to apply. You all already got that, so woohoo, you already accomplished that first step.
Yes. Also, in the Life as a VISTA section, we laid a path from before service to in service where you are now to after service. These resources are mostly about benefits and general support. How not to break the law, please don't do that. How not to go broke, don't do that either. Or how not to burn out, 100 recipes for ramen, and many others. Of course, under alumni, there's also a section on how to send us money. Just saying.
Eric, they're not even finished yet. Let's not start asking for money.
I'm sorry. Good call.
So now we get on to the work. So the work focuses on skills and knowledge related to your assignment. It is divided into the competencies that cut across all VISTA assignments and projects, whether it's volunteer management, resource development, or even outreach. We also capture project-specific information as well as general or foundational information, like poverty in America and professionalism in the workplace. This
is the student union or faculty lounge, that place where the valuable information, peer learning takes place. There's a lot here, and it offers a wide range of opportunities that we'll circle back to in a minute.
These two sections, leaders and supervisors, are for positions that you are not in yet. Some of you may be VISTA leaders, but the majority of you are VISTA members. Leaders are VISTA members, usually in their second year of AmeriCorps service or Peace Corps service, who work to expand and build capacity of the VISTA members in particular projects. Check this section out if you want to know more, and maybe you'll be a leader someday. And the supervisor section is a repository for resources devoted to supervisors in the VISTA context. This section is also available to you except for the forums where you need to be registered as a supervisor.
Let's take a minute to dig a little bit deeper, and no, I don't have a shovel to do that, but we're going to start with the Life as a VISTA section. Under In Service is Benefits. You all should have already visited this page and reviewed this information before today, but there are a ton of great resources here related to your living allowance, your end-of-service benefits, and many other benefits you may be eligible for during your VISTA year. So don't hesitate to revisit this page throughout your year of service. Let's now move on to a section of the campus that can help you manage your VISTA year of service, cleverly named Managing Your Year.
This section of the campus provides resources and tools to help you, like it said, manage your VISTA year.
Nice.
So let's explore the Navigating the VISTA Lifestyle tutorial. The Navigating the VISTA Lifestyle tutorial walks you through a high-level overview of what to expect from your VISTA year and allows you to make a plan for your VISTA year as well. We're going to go through a few little screenshots here to just show you what part of this looks like. It's a little bit more interactive than some of our other tutorials, so definitely have fun with it.
And just in case you missed it, here is your favorite resource ever, the VISTA Member Handbook. It contains all policy and laws related to your service. For example, how much leave do you get?
Does anybody know how much leave they get?
I hope they know.
Well, in case they don't, you should check Chapter 9. And by the way, click Add this to my learning plan, and a link to the handbook will be added to your favorites in your learning plan. By the way, your campus learning plan is on your landing page when you're logged in. So anything on the campus that you may want to reference later, add it to your learning plan and it'll show up right here.
You also may remember our sharing previously that VISTA members raised double the amount Congress allocated to the entire program. There is no federal program we know of that does that. $220 million last year. That's incredible.
Whoa.
Yeah, I wish I had that in my pocket, but it's not going to happen. And you understand, in terms of creating sustainable solutions for our community and building the capacity of an organization, resources are a high priority. So let's look at raising funds from individuals for a minute.
So we structured the subpages like a bento box. For those of you, hope you know what a bento box is. If not, the protein in a bento box is the larger section, with carbs, veggies, and sweets in the smaller sections. They're the resources that round out an intelligent diet, but the main feature holds the foundational information. Bento box is clever, right, Eric?
It is.
Very
now
clever.
I'm hungry.
Oh. And by the way, this is a webinar from our professional development webinar series, but more on webinars a little bit later.
This piece, under Other, is actually an assignment later on in the Blend syllabus. But I wanted to share that it contains a few brilliant pieces and captures the issue and dilemma very well. Plus, if you don't know Molly Orshansky, you will learn to love her in just a few minutes, or at least her glasses.
And then you'll never be able to forget her, right? So the VISTA service and your VISTA time is also an opportunity to connect with other VISTAs. It's a generalization, but I think you were all well-motivated and idealistic in the best sense of the term. And you're incredibly resourceful. I mean, you have to be a VISTA, right?
Oh, yeah.
So as an educator, it's hard to keep up with you. But in other words, VISTA is a community that you'll want to engage in, where you will most likely grow professionally and personally.
And as Jessica just talked about being engaged, click on the Connect and Learn tab, and you'll find a number of interactive resources to connect you with VISTAs serving around the country. Also, if you haven't already, check out the VISTA forums where VISTAs and alumni post and answer each other's questions. The discussion topics are as diverse as our community. But
by far, my favorite tool has to be the VISTA map. So let's take a look at the VISTA map. So the map shows where VISTAs are currently serving and where alumni and supervisors are as well. If you can't already tell, this is the great state of Colorado. Any Coloradans out there, woohoo, Colorado's the best state. So the map will message someone that you want to contact by clicking on their icon. So you could follow up with Douglas here, who's serving in Colorado.
Hey, Doug. We also mentioned the professional development webinar series earlier. Let's take a little bit of time to look at what kind of webinars VISTA offers. The webinars are structured like the campus, life, and work. For example, behavioral economics, writing winning proposals, as well as at home in your community and time management. You can attend these webinars live by following the registration link shown on your screen. But if you're unable to attend a live webinar, probably out because you're helping solve poverty in your community, which is an understandable excuse for not joining a webinar. True, true. Or you just want to see it again because you love our banter so much and you love us and you just can't get enough, you can watch all these recordings on demand. The page is updated frequently, as we typically have 2 webinars a month for VISTAs, so be sure to add a bookmark to this page or make sure to check it out often. And one more important resource is the VISTA Blend. The what? Now I know what you're thinking. Crikey, VISTA's got more blends than Jamba Juice. Why, yes, Eric, we do. There's the PSO blend, and you get what a blended curriculum is now.
online, webinars, face-to-face, etc. So there are two other blended courses that we offer. First is volunteer mobilization, and the other is resource development.
The great thing is that these courses are accredited by the American Council on Education for undergraduate work, and they're designed with your VADs in mind. The course applications and deadlines for application are here, and yes, they're free. There's high demand for these courses, so enrollment is done on a rolling basis. We try our best to get everyone enrolled, but may not be able to accept everyone who applies.
And the last word about the campus, only because tracking your progress may be important to you, as well as needed on your site.
That's where the VISTA Impact app comes in.
Woohoo!
It's under What Other? Life as a VISTA.
So the Impact app allows you to track your activities using a smartphone or computer. It keeps log of your activities and the details, like how much money or how many volunteers, when and where.
That sounds great. It'll also generate and send a report to your supervisor. And at the end of the year, this report might be valuable not only to your project, but also to you when it comes to talking about your service year.
Definitely. It makes it easier when you're applying for jobs afterwards, like what on earth did I do in my VISTA year?
Good point.
And this is actually, let's clarify a few things. We do call it the VISTA Impact app, but this is actually just a mobile-friendly website rather than a downloadable app. But the AmeriCorps VISTA mobile-friendly webpage does not roll off the tongue as easily as AmeriCorps VISTA Impact app. So it's not available at the App Store, but it will work on a web browser of any smartphone. It's exclusive to VISTAs and to the campus. So as we recommended earlier, you should add this to your learning plan.
Wow, that was a whirlwind tour. But please come back and visit and take your time. And there are resources being added to the campus all of the time. So again, come back and visit. While the VISTA campus is always a good place to begin with your individual development plan, there are many other free and reputable sources available to get you started. Many local libraries, and yes, you can still visit those, they still do exist, have access to online databases and grant writing resources. All you need is a library card. Not only do libraries have access to thousands of resources, including trained librarians, they probably have community bulletin boards that you can use to post notices for volunteers, meetings, etc. And maybe you can find recreational or social network for you to join as well.
Ooh, like a puppy playtime?
Or food trucks.
Ooh, those would be a lot of fun. So websites, even like Coursera or Khan Academy, provide free online courses from Ivy League institutions.
Wow.
MOOCs, that's M-O-O-C. They're not for everybody, but it's still good stuff. And check to see if your sponsor has any professional affiliations. If they don't offer any free online trainings through their memberships, you may be able to make the case for attending.
Absolutely. As Jessica mentioned, also take advantage of the new networks your VISTA position will expose you to. Many of you have been communicating in the chat, and it's a great place to start. Also looking at a Young Professionals Network. They often offer networking, professional development, and volunteer opportunities. There's even a Young Nonprofit Professionals Network. Check out ynpn.org to find a local chapter.
You know what else is worth a visit?
What's that?
LinkedIn.
Sweet.
Because you know why? Because then you can be linked in. Get it?
To us.
Done.
Like they are now.
Exactly.
And take advantage of networks you already have, like your local alumni group, if I could talk, or fraternity groups. Some colleges or universities also have mentoring programs or have a means of connecting you to other alumni where you can establish your own relationship.
So professional organizations are another great resource. They can offer significant professional development and networking opportunities. While not everything is free, it never hurts to see what's happening in your area and ask your supervisor if you may be able to attend.
Some organizations have entire sections of their websites dedicated to professional development. Those of you in the financial development field should check out the Association for Fundraising Professionals website and explore their professional development section. It includes everything from conferences and leadership training to executive institutes, certifications, and more.
And if you're working with volunteers, which I know some people in the chat did indicate that they're working with volunteers, look at the Council for Certification in Volunteer Administration. Even if you don't want the certificate, you can still glean great tips from their website. Don't forget Points of Light or Energize Incorporated. Energize has tools directly related to volunteer management fields.
And for those of you who are working in communications and marketing, the Public Relations Society of America has seminars, newsletters, and other resources devoted specifically to public relations and management skills for nonprofits.
And if you're developing a training program or education series, check out the Association for Talent Development. You can subscribe to newsletters, watch webinars, and follow leaders in the field of training and curriculum development.
Be sure to also explore the training offered by NeighborWorks America. NeighborWorks offers training on everything from nonprofit leadership skills to professional development, community assessment, supporting minority populations, and more.
And don't overlook local opportunities from United Way or the Chamber of Commerce, Toastmasters, Urban League, or national organizations with local branches. Chamber organizations often host professional mixers as well as events directed towards emerging community professionals.
And if you find that there's a cost to any of these things, don't be afraid to ask your supervisor. There's also a chance that scholarships might be offered through the associations or training institutes, and it never hurts to apply. You've got a great story, and it's hard to turn a VISTA away.
That's true. It would be very hard. I mean, you're fighting poverty, right? You're helping your communities. How's someone going to say no to that?
Exactly.
So now we want to know, has anyone in the chat found a free course or resource that was worthwhile? Is there an affinity group or professional organization that you think resonates with VISTA service?
How about a TED Talk that you think everyone should watch?
Ooh, I like TED Talks.
Oh, yeah.
So share your feedback now in the chat. Let us know maybe you found a great course, maybe at your local community college, maybe at a continuing education course. Type it in the chat if you found something. And definitely, you know, we're going to keep this chat up. This webinar is recorded, so definitely don't feel like you have to scramble and type everything down. This will be available to you at a later date. So as we wait for some of the responses to come in, let's take a look at the next slide. Let's see, actually, no, Hannah here. Hannah said TED Talk, Everyday Leadership.
Perfect.
Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Anything that anybody else can get. And it looks like Samantha here actually sent us a link to a TED Talk, so that's fantastic.
Nice.
She took it one step further. She actually took us right there. So we're going to leave this up. You can comment as we go, but we're going to move on to the next slide here. So we want to make sure that you take time to learn and grow.
Like a flower.
Yes, like a flower or like a weed. Weeds grow really fast, but they don't have to necessarily be bad, right?
And weeds spread like VISTA spread their services.
Very true.
Awesome. Very
true. But you guys are not weeds. You're beautiful flowers. So search the work section on the VISTA campus for resources.
As we mentioned earlier, take a VISTA campus tutorial.
Attend a VISTA webinar
like
because
you're doing
you
now.
love us.
And apply to take a VISTA Blend course.
So as a VISTA community member, we want you to show your VISTA pride. Don't those VISTAs on that picture look like they're having a ton of fun?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you never know where you may make a connection with someone else who knows about the program.
Put the AmeriCorps VISTA logo on your business card, in your email signature, and on your organization's website, social media sites, and brochures. The more visible that you are, the more support you get for your project and as VISTA as a whole, which means more VISTAs and communities doing the great work that needs to get done.
The web links in the chat lead to places you can get VISTA publications and gear to use in your office and represent VISTA in the field. Jenny just posted that, so thank you, Jenny.
Hey, don't forget to take pictures and share them with us through our Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat accounts. We may well share your story or retweet your photo.
Yeah, we might. We love retweeting. We're big tweeters here. So we know it's on your mind. We know there's been talk. Anthony already alluded to it. He's hoping to get his polo soon. And guess what, guys? I'm going to tell you right now how you're going to get that, VISTA polo.
YOLO polo.
YOLO. You only live once with your polo, right?
Exactly.
All right. So you will receive an email from VISTA, specifically me, Jessica Birch, with instructions on how to order a VISTA polo and lapel pen. This will not only come by the end of this week, it'll come by the end of today. And it will go to your email address that you have listed in my.americorps.gov, so make sure you check that email address. Items need to be sent to your project site. We cannot send it to your home, unfortunately, and we cannot send to P.O. boxes, so we will need an actual physical address. And all polos are men's cut, so please take this into account when ordering. More instructions will be coming, so just keep an eye out for that, and we look forward to being able to get you those polos and so you can show that pride.
Absolutely. So, taking a breath, we've covered a lot. Considering everything we've discussed, What is one step you can take today after this webinar?
I mean, if it were me, like I'm gonna say me right here, I would bookmark the member handbook in my learning plan. Or I would schedule a coffee with a coworker because I love coffee. And my coworker, you know, that's true too. And then I would search for a community association meeting, you know, meet someone out in the community, really reach out.
Those are great ideas, and we know some of you guys have awesome ideas as well. So please share them in the chat now.
Good. Anthony here. Anthony, who's going to get his polo, who's super psyched, said he's going to go to a community luncheon.
Yep. And Richie, same thing. Schedule a working lunch with my site supervisor, get to know them a little bit more. Nice.
And then let's see here. As more things come in, join a VISTA meeting. Join our VISTA meeting today. Well, that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Great job, Nancy. And keep those coming. We know as we go through holding a focus group in my local community, that's an awesome idea to get input from the people that need the services.
Exactly. And we know that you guys are talking about different stuff, attending community meetings, taking courses. Definitely don't forget to schedule a standing meeting with your supervisor and meet with other organizations, you know, research professional organizations. We want you to not only take time to develop skills that will help you with your VAD, but also help you professionally. This is a unique opportunity.
And for those of you who might have relocated, I know someone mentioned it earlier, exploring the VISTA campus, but also exploring your community. Maybe you don't know what other resources are right around the corner.
Exactly, and that can even be the same even if you're from that community.
That's true.
You know, you never know. So now we're going to tell you this. Do this because it's good for you. So first, here's what we suggest. And why do we suggest these things there?
Because Jessica's always right.
Oh, that's so nice. I didn't tell him to say that, I promise. So first, we want you to complete an individual development plan. You don't have to use our form, but we want you to be mindful of the things that you want. So use this webinar and the VISTA campus to refine and build your plan.
As we already mentioned, if you don't already have a regularly scheduled meeting with your supervisor, take that under consideration and make that happen. You
did fill out that OSOT worksheet and said that you're going to meet with your supervisor X amount of time. Make sure that that sticks. And identify one resource, whether that's an on-demand webinar, a self-paced course, or a video to add to your learning plan.
Oh, yeah. Also reach out to another campus user through the Learning Connections feature on the VISTA campus.
You have about 90 people right here in this webinar. Like, look for a name and connect with them because it's going to be awesome. And then finally, research a professional organization in a field that interests you and investigate online trainings, resources, and webinars.
And finally, make sure to submit your fingerprints. They are due on the 5th Friday of service, which means if you started service on March 21st, your fingerprints are due April 22nd. And yes, that's also Earth Day. Woo. But the more important thing is the fingerprints. You should have received your fingerprint cards from your supervisor. If you have not, please follow up directly with your supervisor as soon as possible.
But I want to end on a fingerprint note. Wow, those are important. We also want you to get your polo, so make sure to keep an eye out for that email and get your VISTA polo.
I like it.
So, just to recap, because we like reminders here, we want to recap some important dates on not only your breakout facilitator would have talked about or will be talking about, but also some things that we discussed here. So,
make sure to put these on your calendar. Sunday, April 10th, your 1-minute intro is due. Monday, April 18th, poverty assignment due. And Friday, April 22nd, what is due, Jessica?
Fingerprint! Woohoo! Woohoo! So we've given you a lot to think about. Eric and I have talked. We sure that you have a lot of questions. Let's open it up to some of your questions. As we do that, we're also going to open an evaluation. We hope that you take a few moments to share feedback.
We love your feedback and use it quite well.
We do. We change these every time due to what you guys say, what you guys want, what your needs are. So please be honest, be as, you know, as detailed as possible. We want to make sure this is good for VISTAs in your position. So just take a moment to do that. And as this evaluation is on the right-hand side, we're going to go to your Q&A. So now I'm going to ask the operator to come back and let us know how to answer questions, or I'm sorry, ask questions over the phone, and then we're going to look through the Q&A and see if there's questions in there as well. So, operator?
All right, this is the operator. If you would like to ask a question, please press *1. You'll be prompted to record your name. To withdraw your question, press *2. In one moment, we'll wait for the first question.
Thank you so much. So we're just looking through the Q&A here. Let's see here. Eric, do you see any questions here?
I don't see any questions. There was a question that was asked earlier that was answered, and I can't find it. But
I know there was a question about pay stubs. how to find your pay stubs?
That is true. That's what it was. And if you log into your my.americorps.gov account, click on My Living Allowance link, you'll see living allowance statements posted there.
Yep, and you'll get one every 2 weeks, bi-weekly. And so before we go back to the Q&A, I'm sorry, on the phone, I do see here a question came in. Can you put the screen back up about professional development resources? So I'm going to go ahead and scroll that back. Like I said, this will be recorded, so you guys will have this. But let's go ahead and go back so you guys can see that. We're going to do, let's see here. Yep, we're going to go right back here for you, and I'll scroll to the other one in just a minute. Someone also did ask, my colleague, Mr. Andy King, also indicated in the chat that there was someone who asked how long it takes for the polo shirt to arrive. The polo shirt can take about 7 to 10 business days from the time the order is approved. So you will get a notification once the order has been approved, that it's been approved, and you'll also receive a tracking number once it's shipped. So about 7 to 10 business days.
Great.
So let's go to the phone. Right, Eric?
Yes.
Operator, are there any questions over the phone?
At this time, there are no questions. And again, if you would like to ask a question, please press *1.
Great.
Thank you for that. And while we wait, I see there is another question that came in the chat, and the question was, do we get a confirmation when our fingerprints are received by AmeriCorps VISTA? The answer is not really. When you send them back, we track them, and then only if your fingerprints are not received, you'll get a second communication.
And what we ask that you do is that because we give you a label, we ask you to keep that tracking number so that you can track and see if it was received by us. Once it says deliver, then you can assume you're good to go.
And I see Samantha Scott said that in the email, so thank you, Samantha. You clearly read directions. We appreciate that.
Awesome. And Felicia, we got a question here about, do we have to pay for the polo shirts? No, you don't. You don't have to pay for polos. You get a polo free.
Awesome.
So no worries there, Felicia. You don't have to pay for that. That'll be sent from VISTA to you so that you can rock your VISTA-ness all over your community.
Any other questions? Remember to post them in the Q&A or ask them verbally. We still have a couple more minutes if there are some questions lingering out there.
In one moment, we do have a question.
Great.
What happened? I'm confused on.
Go ahead. You may ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
I have a question about health care. I'm confused about choosing a health care option. If I don't need to choose an option, what do I do?
So whether or not you have, if you have health insurance, like if you have your own health insurance, whether that's through the marketplace or through a spouse or a parent, you'll still want to go into the IMG website and select the health care allowance, because that can reimburse you for things such as co-pays or prescription costs. So if you have insurance, you'll definitely want to sign up for that health care allowance just so that you can get reimbursed for things like that. It doesn't cost you anything, the health care allowance itself. I mean, you need to pay for your premiums for health insurance, but that doesn't cost anything. If you are exempt from having to have insurance, you'll want to sign up for our VISTA Health Benefit Plan, so that can cover, you know, some incidentals that may come in or some other things that may be covered by that plan, but you'll definitely want to choose one or the other.
Okay. Perfect. What was the website?
Yeah, it is. We can post it in the chat because I think it's kind of long. I think it's like img.americorpsvista. Eric right now is going to find it, and he's going to type it right in the chat, so then you should be able to get it right from there. But there is also a link in your my.americorps.gov account under My In-Service Benefits.
Okay, perfect. That's all the question I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the operator. There are no other questions at this time.
Great. So it looks like we, Taylor, and I love Calvin here. Calvin, our colleague here, another training coordinator with him. Taylor, you get to keep those shirts. You don't have to return them, and like Calvin said, it's yours to keep. So I still have my VISTA Polo. I think Eric still has his. So definitely keep those. Rock your VISTA pride. So I think we've answered all of your questions. So I think that we've answered all the questions. If you do have any other questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I think Eric was your training coordinator for this, so you should have emails from Eric. So please feel free to reach out, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. But go forth, have a great VISTA year. Thank you for everything you're going to do. And Eric, do you have any last words?
Keep rocking out. You guys are awesome.
Thank you guys so much. And then I guess that's it. So we want to say thank you for joining us, and we greatly appreciate your time.